Us now, Dave McMenamin and Tim McMahon. Howdy, partner and McMahon. Tim, I'm going to start with you here. You laid it all out. The emotions, they're still raw here for Doncic. What kind of reception are you expecting tonight?
Howdy, Malika. I would say two words here: awkward and emotional. Now, awkward will be the reception from the Mavericks organization that blindsided Luka with a trade that, let's be honest, kind of publicly dumped on him on the way out the door to try to justify the deal, but they're grateful now. They're thanking him for everything. This T-shirt here says in Slovenian, "Thanks for everything." I'm sure that'll soothe all the hard feelings that Luka might have about the way that he was stabbed in the back. Now, for the fans, it is going to be a surreal emotional experience. They really did think this guy took the torch from Dirk and was going to be theirs forever. They thought he was going to be another just generational superstar that they adopted from Europe and that they'd have for the rest of his career. So they will celebrate 6.5 spectacular seasons, and there will be tears shed that Luka didn't last in Dallas for a hell of a lot longer than that.
Yeah, this is an emotionally charged game here, Dave. For the Lakers side of all of this, they're trying to turn the page from that loss to the Thunder last night. What are they saying about their approach to this game?
Yeah, Malika, LeBron on December 2nd, 2010, returned to Cleveland for the first time as a member of the Miami Heat. He said it's not going to be like that. That was his decision. This was out of Luka's hands, and so the fan base he expects will have a warm ovation to welcome Doncic back. Austin Reeves said it'll probably be the loudest he's ever heard any arena when Luka Doncic's name is announced in the starting lineup for the Lakers. But LeBron did say that this is important when it comes to team camaraderie to let Luka know that they have his back. They're going to be there with him through every emotion that he feels tonight. And the most important thing is that they do their job to the best of their ability to be able to get a win so Luka can walk out this arena a winner at the end of the night.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be the most important thing. Tim, can we see that shirt one more time that fans are getting that says thank you in Slovenian? Yeah, every single fan is going to be.
I can pronounce it.
You can pronounce it?
Hey, look, also, at least the Havala, the VSE part I get confused about. Also, no puncture wounds in the back. Look.
Oh, my God. It would double as a tissue. You could dry your tears.
Why did you guys, I'm not expecting you guys to try to, like, jump into it together. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Enjoy the game tonight. Now we turn to Brian Windhorst and Kendrick Perkins. Perk, I'm going to start with you here. What are you expecting in Luka's return?
I don't know. Because going back, although he was traded from there, you know, the emotions are high. And just think a few weeks ago when Jimmy went back to Miami, we all was sitting up here saying, oh, Jimmy go in, he go do this, he go do that.
All of us, or was it one specific person up here who said it was going to be one of the best return games and put it on a big list already?
Yeah, I probably did that.
Yeah, okay.
I probably did. I don't put nothing past me, okay? I probably did it. Now, here's the thing. I thought Jimmy was going to do it. But again, Luka, he's going to get the shot attempts. And again, he has to find that motivation, which I believe he will. But let me tell you why I think he's going to play good and why he's going to compete at a high level. Because the Mavs are going to bring it out of him. The Mavs are going to come ready to hoop. Anthony Davis, LeBron James talked about, you know, them having Luka back. Anthony Davis' teammates are going to have his back tonight, along with his coaching staff. Yeah. It's going to be a brawl for it all.
There might be some other Slovenian words said tonight that aren't as pleasant that you wouldn't print on a T-shirt. The thing about Luka is he's really, his play with the Lakers is in a lot of ways come down to how he shoots the three. I wish I could give you better analysis and say it's not to do with pick and roll defense and stuff. When he makes his threes, he looks great. You know, look, he's had a bunch of games where he's just not shot the ball. I think he's had 4 games where he went 1 of 7 and 2 where he went 1 of 9. And he's also had games where he's gone 6 of 10, 7 of 12, 8 of 13. And he's been hot the last few games. Last few games, he shot over 40%. So if he gets out there and that step back is working, he could cook him for 45 points tonight.
Right.
If it's not working, the Lakers got to go away from it, because while all this emotion will be fun, the Lakers need a win.
Right.
They need to get this win to get that home court established.
And that's the ultimate get back, right, is being able to walk into this building and get a win. And there was a time in which we said, okay, the Mavericks, they were struggling to have enough bodies to put out on the floor with all the injuries that they had. That's not the case anymore. Anthony Davis is back, and he is going to want to show the Lakers what they were missing as well. I was in the building when the Mavericks came to Los Angeles for the first time, and I was actually standing talking to Nico Harrison when Luka Doncic came out onto the floor and warmed up. And Nico was watching the entire warm-up go down, and afterwards, right, Luka was asked about, did you see Nico out there? And Luka said, no, I didn't even see him. I wasn't looking that way. That's not what I was focused on. There is still some bad blood about how all of this went down. And I think that's worth revisiting here because, Brian, you had some strong words this week on the trade. Let's just remind viewers what you said.
I know we're all going to focus on Luka, as we should, but the Mavericks not getting Austin Reeves in that trade is malpractice.
Dr. Brian, elaborate on the malpractice, please.
Look, I can get to a spot, and I did relatively quickly, where I understand why the Mavericks traded Luka. I'm not saying I agree with it. I understand. They didn't want to give him the $300 million. They felt over the long haul that makes sense. I can get to a spot where I understand that the one player that they wanted in the league that they could get was Anthony Davis. I got it. I absolutely, I can see that. What I can't fathom, and I'm not alone because this is a big topic of conversation within the league, is what else was in the trade. What they left on the table. Yes, another first-round draft pick. Yes, a pick swap. But Austin Reeves, who is looking like an all-star since this trade, he has been brilliant playing alongside Luka. He would have been brilliant, in my opinion, playing alongside Kyrie. And here's the thing. He's got one of the best value contracts in the league.
Right.
Look, if he was making $40 million, which is, by the way, that's the level of player he's playing like right now, and the Mavericks said, we can't have $40 million Kyrie Irving and $40 million Anthony Davis and $40 million Austin Reeves, I'd be like, you're right. You can't in an apron world. He's one of the best value contracts in the league. And even if you didn't think he could play with Kyrie, which I don't agree with, his value would be extraordinary on the contract. So I'm sorry. I know what has been put out there, which is that Jeannie Buss said, we're not trading Austin Reeves. Got it. You don't get Luka Doncic then. That's the way this works. They had the asset that was going to set the Lakers up for the next decade. They were in prime position to get two impact players. They let one go, and I'm sorry. I just can't understand why they let that happen.
Well, I mean, she said she wasn't giving up Austin Reeves.
Thank you. Have a nice day. We'll see you in the summer.
Okay.
Gone.
And then the deal off the table.
Yes.
Okay. What?
So how will this trade be remembered? We looked at because clearly months later we're still talking about it as one of the most shocking moves in NBA history, and looking at the fine points of what else could be included to make you feel maybe better about it. How is it going to be looked at, especially through the lens tonight?
I mean, so it comes down to this. The reason that Luka was traded is two reasons. One, they didn't want to give him $300+ million because they didn't believe that he was their guy to take them to go actually ultimately bring back a championship to Dallas, right?
Physical conditioning.
All that plays a part in a franchise player, Wendy. So, with that being said, this is how it's going to be remembered. Luka Doncic has to win the NBA championship. If he don't, then no one should say nothing about the Dallas Mavericks or Nico Harrison and what he's done. If Luka finished his career without an NBA championship, was it really a bad trade?
That's fair, but we're a long way from being able to declare that.
Are we a long way? How long is, let me ask you a question. This is why I asked this. Are we a long way? When it comes down to Luka habits, hold on, Wendy. Luka habits. He don't have the same body type as a LeBron James.
We heard what we heard the soundbite. We just played it a few minutes ago. Nico Harrison sat there and said, when we start winning, people will look at this differently. If that happens, that will happen.
Winning cures all. Luka Doncic, he did say this in the Los Angeles Times today, though, when he was asked about people who criticize his work ethic or criticize his body type, and he said, they have no idea. I didn't end up here by mistake. I worked my off to be here, so I would say it's disrespectful and sad that people
It's not disrespectful and sad. If you go back and you watch how Luka played when he was overseas, it's a lot different than how he played.
Just out of fairness, that's Luka's perspective on all of this. You can catch Luka's return in our doubleheader tonight at 7:30 Eastern, and then Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets in their first game post Michael Malone take on the Kings. Our coverage tip with NBA Countdown at 7 o'clock Eastern. Still to come, the moves that moved and shook the NBA landscape. Our resident list maker, history savant, Kendrick Perkins, coming down with a shocking list of actions.
I was going to piss the world off today.
Today?
Welcome back to Papa John's. The finer things in life.